go, let's rock. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Know you've been waiting for it.
Hey, and thank you for stopping by. My name is Darren Carter, and you are at darrenwcarter.com, or you may be viewing this on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/specialdtc. Well, this is a little different. What I wanted to do was, instead of write my blog or post regarding, as you can see at the top, the diagnosis of my ADD evaluation, I wanted to talk about it. Better to talk a little bit than to just write. So if you haven't been to my blog, or if you're just now coming, or if you're just seeing this, if you want to click the, or just kind of just scroll down a little bit, you can go to, this started off at My Life Possibly with ADD. That was a post, as well as ADD the evaluation, so that it can kind of catch you up on where I am. So, diagnosis, as it kind of stated in ADD evaluation, it was a very strong case that I would be diagnosed with that, and I was quite heftily, actually. We went through all his clinical mumbo jumbo and jargon. Come to find out that they get their clinical assessment from a book called DSM-4TR or something like that. What it is, it's a diagnostic and statistical manual for mental disorders. Okay, and they're broken down. ADHD for adults and children are broken down in 3 separate categories. One of them is primary inattentive, the other is primary hyperactive and impulsivity, and the other is the combined subtypes, which is both inattentive and hyperactive. And you had to meet, like for the past 30 or 60 days, you had to meet certain criteria over, I think, 6 out of the 9 criteria for inactivity. I met 7, and all of them were at a high level. The impulsiveness and the hyperactivity, I only had like 2 out of 9. So that necessarily wasn't the case, but obviously a strong case for ADD. And I have to say, it did bother me. Talked to it with some friends and so forth, and you know, some of them already, that's your excuse, or we knew this, or blah blah blah, yada yada yada. You know, so there's a difficulty in adjusting with that. My next step is to go to a evaluation, clinical evaluation for medication. So there's 2 parts to this. There's a behavioral modification, and then there's medication. And I think the best way to explain that is, because when you talk about mental disorders, you talk about the short bus, which is a misnomer, which I did. If you read my post previously, and people don't, because it's not like brick and mortar, whereas with bodily diseases and ailments, they tend to call it mumbo jumbo, hogwash, or whatever. But a good friend of mine explained it to me this way: it is a health condition, just as, or you can take it just like diabetes. Your body cannot produce enough insulin, so you have to take insulin, and that is the medication side. The second side of it is the behavior side, where you have to change your lifestyle, change your eating, you know, and kind of keep up with what you're doing. When you work those 2 together, you have a better life, managed a better life. If you mismanage either one of those, the medication or the not eating correctly, your life is not as good as it can be, and it often leads to, in case of diabetes, there's amputations, there's death, you know, there's deterioration of the body. There's so many different things, but if you manage it, you can have a better quality of life. So is with mental disorders. Proper medication, proper dosage, you can manage what is missing that's causing you to be hyperactive, that's causing you to be inattentive, and also with the behavior plans, because there's no magic pill. It's not like I'm going to take the red pill like Neo and see how far the rabbit hole goes. There is a point where medication comes, and then also a different behavior, keeping up with tasks, possibly getting a coach, possibly even getting some therapy. So there's also two parts to that, and it will have to be my lifestyle. So the question is, how do I feel about it? I don't know. As I've told many people, and I've gotten support where actually I didn't think I would, but I was trying to tell them that the exhale hasn't come yet. But I've seen and heard many cases from children and adults where it has worked, and they're totally different. And they have to work at it, obviously, but their behavior is different. Because I've dealt with this, as we found out, my whole life, and I see the carnage that has left behind, and relationships, my marital relationship, family relationship, church relationships, business relationships, all that has to kind of be picked up and put back together if possible, and just move forward. The bottom line is, with this type of diagnosis, you find out that you could not do what you could not do. Like with diabetes, your body can't produce insulin, and your mind is not producing what it needs to properly keep you functioning, focused at all times like you need to be. So I have to come to grips with that it is something that I could not control. The people around me have to come to grips with that, and not to use that as a crutch or an excuse, but understand that's where I was. So they, the blame necessarily can't be totally now on what was, nor can their reactions to what was. I can't hold their reactions because none of us knew what was there. So I'm waiting for that relief. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that exhale, and I don't know when I get it. I will say that the biggest fear that I have, I guess, or the uneasiness that I have, is that even without this, maybe things won't be the same, or they won't change, rather. But that's something I have to work at as well. So one thing the doctor did say, though, with my personality, and it's not like I haven't pushed through some of that. We see the carnage, obviously, but we also see the positive. So this works out well. You think I was good then? Wait till now. So I'm excited. I'm a little relieved, but I'm excited. I want to see how this goes. I want to make a better life for myself, first off, to make sure that I'm functioning to my best potential. And that will then fall off in my business and my family and other relationships. And what I can salvage, by the grace of God, we will salvage. What can't be salvaged, hey, we have to move on. I've been here 41 years. I plan to be here that more and longer if I can. So this is a new day. 2011 definitely will be a new year and a new beginning for me and a lot of things in my life. So continue to come back and watch this journey with me and walk it with me. Oh, if you have any questions about adult AD&D and ADHD, because one thing I did find, look, my generation and older, we didn't talk about this kind of stuff. It was basically, boy, you just get your butt, sit down, do your work, or do this, do that. It wasn't, we never really looked into mental disorders because they were taboo, and then we got to the extreme with the Ritalin children. So there's been a sway here, but I think nowadays we are starting to get more comfortable with handling with mental disorders, and even learning that we may have some ourselves, because a lot of these things, what you'll find out, are hereditary. So if you have any questions, if you need some answers, there's a couple of websites. I thought I had a couple of websites here, and I have them on the screen. They are helpforadd.org. That's helpforadd.org. And then there's also CHADD, which is CHADD. Oh, I got it on the screen. .org. So check those out, because if you're dealing with somebody, adult or child, with ADHD, it can affect you greatly. So you need to know how to deal with that and how to come forth and how to handle it, basically. And it's not just a, sit them in a corner because they don't know what they're doing. Possibly they can't help but doing what they're doing. So be blessed, everybody. Thank you again for stopping by.
Hello. Good morning. Let's go. Let's go. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.